Understand that no one is against you in the way that you think they are. Or more plainly, no one can be against you enough to push you off your path. No one can create that amount of power. The power to move you only comes from you. Hello to all you fellow experiencers out there, and welcome to the Spirited Body Podcast. This is the podcast about activating and living from your spirit in your daily actions and experiences. My guides want to show you how to interpret your life through the lens of your highest self so it can be easier, joyful, and satisfying. After all, we're all just spirits in a physical body. I'm James. I'm a psychic medium. I've been talking to the Council of Light for many, many years now. And they want me to share this message about how we can be better as humans, living a more satisfied life, having a better, more satisfying experience. And I'm here with my amazing co-host, Katie.
Hi, happy to be here.
And we're going to talk through these topics that they give me. And so I channel these topics that they want me to talk about. And before I go much further, I want to make sure that you guys share if you think there's someone in your life that would benefit from this information of this podcast. Share, like, subscribe, follow, give us a rating, get in touch with us. I love to hear your stories. I love to have your questions. On Instagram at The Spirited Body, email james@thespiritedbody.com. Give us a shout out. Let us know.
I do love hearing from people.
Give us the tea. And how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm really excited to release this season. I think this season offered a lot of value for people. So
a lot of really amazing information. This is our final episode of the season. And we're going to end with intention.
Oh, it's one of my favorite things to talk about.
It was interesting doing this channel because usually they're like, oh, we're so happy to see you. This is amazing. And let me give you just a blurb of background to put you in an energetic space to listen to what we're talking about. And this one, they're like, intention, like right from the beginning. Yeah, it's good information. And I want to reiterate that this season has been all about reducing conflict, which is, I think, something to really keep sight of and to keep in the back of your mind. And they're not talking about just the larger conflicts like war and politically, but the conflicts you have in yourself.
Which is arguably the most important ones to be handling.
Absolutely. Which is the ones that affect us more on a daily basis, minute by minute basis. How do we reduce conflict within ourselves? How do we reduce conflict within our lives with other people? Just the simple stuff. And I think it's just powerful. And so this is sort of the period at the end of their reducing conflict journey. So should we dive right in?
Let's dive right in.
Okay. So channeled from the Council of Light. It is with great joy that we come to speak to you of intention. This is a driving force of all action on this planet, and though you may feel that it would make your life more satisfying, you are often unaware of your true intention behind choices, which is why you become unsatisfied. Here we go.
Right off the bat.
We are here for your learning and education on the energetic realities that guide your life experience. We are here to share truth with you so you may know how to change your life to one of satisfaction and greater understanding, so you do not need to struggle. Struggle leads to unhappiness and dissatisfaction. These feelings of dissatisfaction lead to blaming yourself and others. This blame leads to conflict. Understanding that no one is against you in the way that you think that they are. Or more plainly, no one can be against you enough to push you off your path. No one can create that amount of power. The power to move you only comes from you.
Literally one of my favorite topics is intention.
Can we just pause for one moment?
It's so powerful, though.
And say, that is a mic drop.
It's
end of everything.
Let's read it again. Let's read it again.
These feelings of dissatisfaction lead to blame, blaming yourself and others. This blame leads to conflict. Understand that no one is against you in the way that you think they are. Or more plainly, no one can be against you enough to push you off your path. No one can create that amount of power. The power to move you only comes from you. I mean, that is...
Should we end the season now?
Thanks so much. Girl, that deserves a girl.
It does. Absolutely.
I mean, to really inhabit.
We give our power to everybody.
Everybody.
I feel like Oprah should be here right now.
and it's almost more comfortable to say other people.
Absolutely.
Rather than, you know what? Nobody has the power to move me except for me. That is, I mean, you want to reduce conflict.
In either direction.
Anywhere.
For the good or for the bad.
I mean, have you ever had the experience where you try to help someone that has never asked for help? Do they ever take it?
No.
Or do you get frustrated because they're not listening to your amazing advice?
Well, we all are experts and know exactly how other people's lives should be unfolding.
It's so much easier to help other people. Wow. There you go. Starting out hot. Intention is behind all actions, and we want to provide that understanding. All answers and actions stem from an intention, whether conscious or unconscious. Your understanding of that fact can reduce conflict in your life in many ways. Can you try to discover the intention of another's actions calmly and plainly without judgment so you may better understand their desires and fears? Sure. So easy.
So extend empathy and understanding to other people who are triggering us. Okay, yeah, we'll just do that real quick.
Super simps. Can you understand your own intentions so you can more fully take responsibility and accountability for your words and actions? I mean, council's reading us.
I know it's feeling. I feel attacked. I'm not gonna lie. I feel personally attacked.
This is the root of conflict. So often your need to be safe overrides your need for communion and connection. This switch occurs so often and easily that you assume you are acting out of connection, but you are not. You assume you are acting for communion and toward happiness and goal attainment, but you are really acting out of a desire to be safe. We wish for you to truly hear and see that this is the main driving force in conflict in your life. Can you be open enough to allow honest examination of a conflict in your life? What is your desire in this situation? Is it to win? To be right? To hold on to your beliefs so they do not need to change? Your protective instincts often derail your attempts at conflict elimination. This is different from conflict acceptance. The desire should be conflict elimination so that it does not exist inside of you, that the internal desire to fight is eliminated within you. That intention provides a different approach in understanding and communication, even if it is only within yourself. For if you are to use words and techniques for communicating with one another that avoids aggressive speech, it may appear calm on the surface, but the desire to fight is not eliminated. The intention in this scenario is that each person holds on to their beliefs, their current state of being, and nicely disagrees with one another. The disagreement, disbelief, and disparity is not eliminated. It is ignored. We invite you to understand your intention and turn it into the elimination of the desire or impulse for conflict or fight, so you may change how the dialogue unfolds. Even if that dialogue or conversation only happens within yourself. This change in intention will then become one of not being right and therefore not having to change or modify, but from trying to understand what the other person wants or believes. It is a change in conversation because the change has occurred in you. There was a lot there. So the first part is basically saying, when you're having in a conflict with somebody and you're having a conversation that is dealing with a hot topic between you and a partner, let's say, can you be at a place? So one part is, can you be at a place where you're trying to understand their intention with curiosity, openness, no judgment, so that you can understand what's going on in their intention?
But I think it's also to recognize that maybe their behavior isn't aligned with their intention, but it doesn't mean their intention isn't there.
Right.
Okay.
And
that's
so,
hard. That's hard.
Yeah, because you're basically trying to be curious about, what are you trying to say to me?
Yes.
What are you trying to convey?
Because your behavior is really shitty right now, but I want to understand that intention.
Right.
Okay.
Where's that coming from? And so that takes a lot.
That takes a lot.
That's superhuman.
Because that behavior really gets in the way and makes you feel so triggered in your ability to have defensiveness that it's hard to even separate their intention from their behavior.
Right. So can you be calm enough to try to discover their intention?
No, but I will try. I mean, that's
and then
really
the other
hard.
side is, can you be calm enough to understand your intention?
You're asking a lot of me right now, James. I'm going to call that out.
But there's two sides.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
Because the other side is not just understanding their intention, but when your intention switches, when you're triggered, your intention is not, wait, what is my partner trying to ask of me? Your intention is, I need to prove that I'm right. I need to be safe. I need to feel safe here. Not I need to understand.
So then you'll act from that intention rather than from the other one.
And it happens like that.
Oh, to be a human.
So then the next phase is, they're asking us to work on conflict elimination, which is a completely different concept than being nice. That conflict elimination is not about, when you brought this to me, I really felt upset, and I understand where you were coming from. And I think we should agree to disagree. They're saying that that kind of talk is not helpful because it's not working on conflict elimination. That's conflict tolerance.
Okay, so tell me what the conflict elimination is.
So conflict elimination is saying, how do I get rid of the desire to be right? How do I get rid of that need to be right, so much so that it's bringing conflict? Because if I say, let's agree to disagree, what that means is I still hold on to my beliefs, even though you're wrong and I'm right. So my drive to be right and produce conflict is still there. But on the surface, it's, we can just.
But as human beings, whether we understand it or not, we can feel that underlying intention and drive. So it's really not going to do anything to do that.
Right. And so their point is, simply because you talk nice and behave nice doesn't mean you've eliminated the desire for conflict. You haven't eliminated that conflict inside of you. And so all the problems that come from that conflict will still exist. All the frustrations, all the anger, all the avoidance. And this isn't about avoidance. This is about communion.
So then how do we let go of being right?
So this says,
because what if we are right?
But does that bring you communion?
I want to be right.
Exactly, because right is safe. Right doesn't challenge you.
I hear that.
We invite you to understand your intention and in turn, turn it into the elimination of the desire or impulse for conflict or fight so you may change how dialogue unfolds. So if you walk into a conflict situation or a disagreement and not hold your intention as being, I need to be safe, I need to be right, but you change it into, I want to eliminate the conflict that's being caused, eliminate the conflict, that intention is going to change the nature of that conversation.
But you have to shift that intention.
And it only needs to be shifted within you. Because if you have that conversation, why do I need to be right here? Why do I feel like I'm not safe if I let this person express their belief? Then, right. And you create that dialogue within yourself to discover, well, if I let that person get away with saying no one should have an abortion, that somehow that takes away my power or my feeling of worth, or that you're limiting my ability to be free. And so I need to fight against that. And then you get to have that conversation of, is that really true that that one person holds that belief, that that person is taking away my freedom or my individuality or my sense of self, or however that is translated and that threat is translated into you personally? The conversation will be vastly different because you aren't threatened.
Had to come in hot with the abortion one.
I'm just picking some that, a subject that people would probably all
agree that they were
link
right
into.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's understanding, and you don't need to have, it doesn't need to come between the two of you. That understanding only needs to happen in your own self. Because once you change yourself, you change everybody else.
Okay.
Intention is the invitation for energy and outcome. Where are you placing the outcome? Where are you inviting the energy to support, motivate, and propel? Do you see? Understanding what your intention is can change what the result will be. Many times the result that you are experiencing is the exact result that you have invited based on intention. When you ask for change in career or income or in relationship status, often your goal is clear, but the intention, the invitation for the energy behind the goal is different. You desire the change in outcome, but you desire to achieve that change without a change in yourself, your understanding, or your learning.
So it's kind of like when people say, I don't understand why this is happening. My intention is this. But then you're like, well, your behavior isn't actually aligned with that intention.
Or your intention actually isn't that. Your goal is that, but your intention.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, I think that we set intentions and we think my intentions were good. Well, the behavior didn't quite match. So maybe that actually wasn't
your intention.
So if your behavior is not actually matching what your intention is, then your intention was off from the start.
Yes, not your behavior, your intention. Because your behavior was perfectly in line with your intention.
Okay.
You desire the change in income, but your intention is to achieve while keeping yourself in the same comfortable position you are in. Your desire is to change the outcome. Much less often is the intention to change yourself. For the intention should be to invite all that is needed to bring your goal to fruition. You cannot change your life without changing your life. I mean, that is, I mean, how many ways that just gets right to the heart of it.
Mm-hmm. This is why I talk about Gary Zukav's book all the time, because his entire book is on intention and aligning your behaviors with your intention. And once you can align your behaviors with your intention, your entire world changes.
You cannot change your life without changing your life. That's huge.
That should be like your quote for your people go to the spirited body. That should be like the headline.
You cannot change your life without changing your life. Do you see? Intention for safety, and the recognized does not allow change in your goal. For true intention is to feel the same, unmoved and safe. Your intention is most powerful when placed behind the desires for your feelings. So when you desire change, but you have the intention of being right, being secure in your spot and space, then your outcome will be that. It will meet your intention of staying in your spot. Do you understand? Your beliefs in self and of self are often more self-limiting than you care to admit. There is no shame we impart on desiring safety, predictability, and the maintenance of what you know. We wish only to help you understand the nature of your dissatisfaction and how intention is at play. If you can be satisfied with what you have, then your intention will match your outcome. We would like you to understand that intention can be used to understand why you are in conflict and used as a tool to bring about the change you want to see. Is your intention to stay in your place where you are right now and have a different life, different house, different income, different relationship? Or is your intention to be satisfied with where you are and everything you have and your place? Or is your intention to invite and welcome that change that is needed to attain the change that you want to have and experience? Is your intention to welcome the changes that are needed to have the life you wish? Create conversation and experiences by understanding, recognizing, and creating intention for that experience. Is your intention to be present? Is it to reach agreement? Or is it to feel safe? Is it to be right? You often start with one and slip into another. Can you create cues that allow you to stay with your intent throughout your experience and accept what happens along the way? When moving into a difficult conversation or encounter, write your intentions down. Make sure they are coming from a place of knowing, from a place of alignment to your soul. Discuss your intentions and invite the other person to state their intentions as well. Periodically review the intentions to make sure you are adhering to them and have not drifted onto other intentions of safety. Are you open to where the conversation may need to go? Are you open to the ideas that the process may not go in the manner that you can control or predict? Use intention as a guide for how you wish energy to support you. What outcome would you like the energy to move in the direction of? How are you inviting the energy to support and guide? Intention is a master creating force in your life. Simple intention will determine outcome. We invite you to see and know the greater picture so you may have a better understanding and ease in your life. Your life is meant to be experienced, digested, and easy so you can welcome greater change and communion. The harder it is, the less communion. You cannot get it wrong.
I think one of the most important things that you said was we often start with an intention and then quickly get off course. But then we think we still have that intention. So then we're like, we're not off course.
Yeah. Well,
but I think just knowing that.
My intention was to convey all of this. My intention and
they said quickly get off course.
Quickly, unconsciously, it immediately happens, because you have no idea what you've said and how it's going to land on the person you're talking to. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden that person's intention. And the thing is, if we're going to look at this from like a really macro version, using everything they've said, if I have something I need to talk to my partner about and my partner is sitting there working or watching TV or working out or whatever, And I walk into that saying, I need to have a conversation. And my intention may be, I really want to have a conversation with this person so we can become closer on this idea. I have no idea what their intention in that moment is. Their intention might be, I want to finish watching my show. I want to work out. I want to take a nap, whatever it is. But now I'm coming in with my intention, and how is that aligned with their intention? Do we ever appreciate it in that moment? Do we give them a warning? Do we get to say, hey, I want to talk about this. When do you have space for it?
Or like, here's my intention and I want to check in with you about what your intention is, like having curiosity for their intention.
That, to me, just understanding those pieces and how intention will always guide your behavior. That is where the energy is going to go. That's what you're inviting the energy to support. And if your intention switches from, I need to convey how much I love this person, to I need to be right because they're insulting me, or I need to protect myself, guess where the energy is going to go?
Quickly to that space.
And just recognizing that and understanding the conflict even in yourself when you have that desire and you're saying, I want that new job, I want that house, I want the whatever, and you don't do anything to change because you want that being exactly where you are. How then the energy is going to go to being exactly where you are, not going toward the change. You can't change your life without changing your life. I mean, that to me is like,
I mean, I think that is, I was thinking about how, wow, this should have been the first episode of Reducing Conflict because everything stems from it. But what an important thing to end on. What an important thing to say. This drives everything.
Everything. I mean,
I feel like at a loss of words, kind of. Like, because it's just like, it doesn't need to be complicated.
No. And it's really, I think having there's it stated, it's really simple, but living it.
Oh, it's a totally different experience, but I'm like at a loss for what to say because I don't want to overcomplicate it.
100%.
But what a great way to say, if you take nothing from the season, take this.
Your intention matters, and understanding your intention. And even if you take it, just taking the moment to understand your own intention is enough to change everything.
And then the next step is the behavior that I'm exhibiting aligned and true to that intention, or did I quickly subconsciously get off course?
Well, and do you know how to tell?
Well, you won't be getting what you want.
Exactly right. Exactly right. It's simple. It'll be pretty plain. And then when you go back and look at oh wait, my intention shifted. I mean, how many times are you in a conversation with your partner? It's easy because they're the easiest triggers. You're in a conversation with your partner and it just goes kind of sideways where you start that different path. And then all of a sudden you talk a little bit more and everything calms down. And then you can come back to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very easy to see. Oh, the intention drifted. Now I'm over here because I needed to feel safe. I needed to be, I don't know, protected, right? Whatever. And then when things calm down, you get out of that sort of like reactive space, then you can get to a more conversational space, a more inquisitive space.
Yeah.
Then you can go, okay, and it happens all the time. It just happened last night. But it's
so
just
powerful.
It's so powerful, and really understanding that disappointment you have with where you are exists because your intention is not aligned with your goal. And that if you fall into the place where you're dissatisfied with your life, and that dissatisfaction is going to lead to blame, and that blame is what leads to conflict because you're blaming yourself, so you're in conflict with yourself. You're blaming others, so you're in conflict with others. When really, if you could just understand that your intention is what's directing the outcome, then you don't need to look farther than that. You don't need to blame. You don't need to be upset. You just need to be aware. And that's where all like the attachments in the relationship, because you are aware, you can be aware of why your intention starts slipping, where you start feeling unsafe, why you're feeling unsafe in these situations, or why this area of your life is dissatisfied or you're dissatisfied with it.
So I love this topic because what it does is it gives us permission to have full autonomy over our own power and our own outcomes and our own belief systems and our own ability to connect and commune with others.
Because no one has the power to push you off your path. Nobody has that power. Only you. Only you. It's nobody else. Give it up. Stop complaining about
Stop
it.
being the victim of it.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Nobody has that. Nobody has that power. It's the same thing that they talked about with how everyone's parallel. No one crosses. And the only time when you feel like, oh no, someone's blocking me, someone's right in my way, this person's not letting me move forward, it's because you have stopped and are paying attention to that person. They're not in your way. They cannot cross. You are parallel. That person's living their life. You are stopping to pay attention to that person. So now you have stopped and are more concerned with that person and what that person's doing. They haven't knocked you off. They're not crossing your path. They're not blocking you. You're doing it. It's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's so empowering.
Completely. Everyone stop all your bullshit.
Yeah. I think it's a great way to
wrap.
I do. Because it's a really empowering idea to just even sit with. Even if you just sat with that concept, like my intention dictates my behavior.
And what is my intention? You've had a really bad patch. Can you sit with what your intention has been?
And then evaluate if those behaviors match, and then not be shocked that the outcome you're getting isn't what you want because those intentions aren't aligned.
What are your intentions? You may say, oh, my intention is to have a new relationship. My intention is to wake up every morning and work out, or my intention is to have a different, outlook. But when you really examine that goal versus what the intention is behind it, and the intention would be without feeling overtaxed, but I still want to feel just as safe, or I don't want to expend as energy to do this. Well,
that's your real intention.
That's your real intention.
Yeah.
That's a goal versus intention. And your energy is always going to go to the intention, not going to go to the goal.
So crazy.
It's crazy and powerful. And I really hope, my true desire is that these messages really help people understand their life in a little bit different way. Their experiences, their areas of their life that are satisfying and the areas of life that are dissatisfying. What does that mean? How can they modify? How can they grow? How can they better commune with people around them? How can they change? How can their life be more satisfying, more fulfilling, happier? That's what I really hope. And this context, I love this context of decreased conflict, and that all these messages that they've given me and I'm sharing with you guys, that you can hear it and take pieces of it that just modify your life in the slightest of ways. That instead of going exactly forward, you're moved 1 degree. Because where you're going to be in a year is going to be drastically different than where you would have been, even 1 degree different
So it's those micro adjustments in perception that really make the long-term impact.
Long-term impact. That's what you're looking for. Can I exhale around this decision a little bit where I wouldn't have exhaled before? Can I just examine what my true thought behind this is? Why don't I feel safe right now? Is it true? These simple understandings of why we're dissatisfied and learning from them so we don't have to blame, whether it's blame ourselves or blame others.
Yeah. I mean, makes a lot of sense. Now in practice, it can be a different story, but even if you can just sit with something like that, like you said, that 1 degree shift over the long haul is significant. So inviting people to just sit with these concepts, reflect, meditate on these things, I think that's enough to change the course by just 1 degree.
1 degree. Doesn't have to be black and white. Black and then less black.
Yeah.
It's like midnight and like 11:55. There you go. It's a lot. That was a good one.
I love that. I love to end on that.
You can't change your life without changing your life. That's a biggie. And it sounds so big, but it doesn't have to be huge. But you have to open yourself up to that reality. You can't be exactly who you are and have a different life. Those two things cannot exist. I mean, that to me is huge.
Huge. It's huge.
Because so often, I mean, you look at all the manifestation stuff you see online and it's like, no, you have to move from where you are to be in a different place.
Just wish upon a star.
Right. There is a part of you that needs to enact.
I love it.
It's great. So that is season 2.
That's a great way to end it.
I'm super excited to hear what they have for season 3.
Yeah.
What's coming up next? I have no idea. Yeah. I really don't.
I tried to ask you earlier, what's the plan? You're like, well, I don't know yet. I'm like,
I have no idea.
Okay.
So all you fellow experiencers out there, this continues to be an incredible source of joy for me. And I'm just so happy I get to share this stuff with you. Being able to talk about this stuff and how it affects me changes as I talk about it. It doesn't just live inside of my cognitive self and play around in there, and hearing their messages out loud it's just a tremendous joy for me. And I appreciate everyone that's listening. If this affects you, touches you, reaches you in some way, I invite you to share it with someone that you know would do the same. Give us a rating, reach out with your stories, give us any ideas you would want on shows, a direction that you think a topic we should cover, a direction we should go. We'd love to hear from you.
And people can reach you at
james@thespiritedbody.com or on Instagram @thespiritedbody. Would love to hear from you. Rate us, let us know, follow, all those things, all the things that help us, that really helps us get the word out there and help other people become aware of the show. Really hope you've enjoyed this season. I hope you got something out of it. I think there's a lot of information that you can re-listen to, and remember that all of the channel text is available online at www.thespiritedbody.com. And you can go down to the episode and it'll have a link to actually listen to it, and it'll give you the written text of the channel, so you can digest it in a little bit more of.
You can read it.
You can read it. You can have it at your own pace. There's a lot of information there that I know people would benefit from reading and digesting in that way. So until other types of material come out, that's what you got.
I love it. And thank you for letting me along for this journey.
Of course.
I'm so grateful to be able to just try to understand more and be in this with you. So thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. See you next season.